Though it's not often mentioned among the most influential comics, the 1980s DC Comics maxi-series Camelot 3000 was a trailblazing series at the time for many reasons, but in particular for its complex and nuanced representation of themes of gender and sexuality. Camelot 3000 was conceived by writer Mike W. Barr, having been pitched and rejected at DC as far back as 1975, before being finally published by DC in 1982. The series featured art by fan-favorite penciler Brian Boland. It was inked by a team of artists including Bruce Patterson, Dick Giordano, and Terry Austin, and it was colored by Tajana Wood. A sci-fi update of the Arthurian legend, it was the first 12-issue maxi-series to be published by DC for the direct market, and it broke new ground for the industry. But Camelot 3000 wasn't just a groundbreaking comic for its industry status and stellar artistry. It involved a forward-thinking representation of gender and sexuality, one that made room for queer and transgender representation in comics at a time when there was even less representation than there is now. Even though it is not a perfect series by any means, wearing its age and the flaws that come with its era quite evidently, it nonetheless presents a character with a transgender identity as not only deeply human, but strong, heroic, and capable. It is a series that is beautifully drawn, as well as remarkably complex and empathetic. The story, in broad terms, involves the reincarnation of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table in the year 3000, where they are needed to help Earth overcome an alien invasion. The invasion is spearheaded by Morgan Le Fay and Modred, Arthur's enemies of legend. Although Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot are largely identical to their legendary components, the rest of the knights are reincarnated in new bodies, with varying results. Sir Galahad is reincarnated as a Japanese samurai, Sir Percival is turned into a Neo-Man, one of the genetically modified monsters created by Morgan Le Fay, and Sir Tristan is reincarnated in a body assigned female at birth. Tristan, however, identifies as male and rejects his gender assignment, wanting nothing more than to have the male body he remembers from his previous life. If there's one bright spot in Sir Tristan's troubled reincarnation, it's the fact that the reincarnated Lady Isolde, his love from his previous life, still loves him, no matter what he looks like or what body he inhabits. Throughout the story, the resonant message is that love is more powerful than anything, more powerful than death and reincarnation, more powerful than oppression, and more powerful than any gender binary. If this is a message that needs to be heard today, and it is, it was even more necessary in 1982. The representation is imperfect, to be sure, there is a lot of casual misgendering present in the story, as well as a fair amount of internalized misogyny presented within Sir Tristan's inner monologue, both of which could be potentially upsetting to readers. Nonetheless, it is a fearless depiction of the struggles faced within society by trans and non-binary individuals, and in 1982, this was a message that was sorely needed in the comic book industry. Nowadays, creators have more resources available to them to better understand queer and trans identities, and queer and trans individuals have more access to the industry now than they did in the 1980s, even if it is still an imperfect system. However, it is important to know where the medium has come from and how far it has progressed, and the DC Comics maxi-series Camelot 3000 is a fine example of a brilliantly made story from less enlightened times that nonetheless still has a message worth telling.